Tafkuf Men Hey.
Tafkuf Men Hey.
Okay.
Which Seif?
Let's start with Seif Aleph again. Also, Lichtov v'Chol HaMoed. It's also to write on Chol HaMoed. Afilu l'hagia ois achas v'sefer also. Even to magia, to go ahead and fix one ois in the sefer is also. No, sefer Torah, tefillin, something like that. Go l'tzarech rabbi yish oisvim kol she'en tzarech HaMoed. And if it's tzarech rabbi, some aser, because if it's not l'tzarech HaMoed, yesh matirin, and some are matir. The issue over here is this ksiva. Is it a mice? What is it? It's a mice hedron. It's a mice. One is a mice uman. Now it used to be that writing wasn't. Not everyone did. Not everyone wrote. There was professional writers, and that's why it was a profession. Copyists, things like that. So therefore, it was a mice uman. So the question is here: we're talking about the being magia, an ois. So therefore, that would be the machlokes over here, whether that's also a mutar v'nergu lehakel v'chsav shelanu she'enu ma'isa uman, and the minig is to be makel on the ma'isa uman. V'chsav shelanu she'enu ma'isa uman. The minig was to be makel on what's called ksav meshita, which is handwriting or hand printing, things like that. Not ksav ashuris and professional writing, Russian calligraphy, things like that. Regular writing, minig was to be makel for rabbi. We'll see about yachid. We'll see in a little bit. This is yeah, Nira li she'im ein lahem sefer Torah kosher likrois boy b'tzibor mutter lahagio b'chol HaMoed k'dei likros bo b'tzibor. Nira li if there's no sefer Torah kosher to read mutter lahagio b'chol HaMoed, you could go ahead and fix it during Chol HaMoed. Likros bo b'tzibor. Chaim b'sifrei mikro gemara shetzarech likro b'moed. So too with psukim and Gemara that you need to learn, so you're allowed to do that. That's considered davar ave because the person needs to be able to learn or read the Torah, things like needs to be able to learn chumashim, things like that. So that's davar ave. They don't have a sefer Torah at all. Right? If it's possible to go ahead and to write the whole thing, Chol HaMoed with 20 different sofer, then you should write it. Torah HaMoed who likros b'Torah b'tzibur b'moed. The Torah HaMoed to read from the Torah on the moed. Even if you only finish it by Yom Tov Acharon, that would be fine. And so too other svarim. To learn from them. If you need other svarim, you're allowed to go ahead and to copy them over and things like that. That's considered davar ari, no matter what you need to do. Kaisev adam tefillin u'mezuzos la'atzmoi. Someone who writes tefillin u'mezuzos for himself, v'toive ayadei yirecho tcheles etzitzis, or he goes ahead and he spins the threads for tcheles and tzitzis, because tcheles specifically nowadays. So that's what the Rama writes, tzitzis. Nowadays I don't know, but I'm saying that l'maisa either one is lebigda. He is allowed to toved and put it on his beged. V'im ein loy. Even if he's going to wear it for, set it up for after, he still can do it. These are three. These are a few heterim as to when a person can go ahead and write stuff. He can write film mezuzos for himself, because so even if the minig is not to wear Chol HaMoed, he's allowed to do it. Because he could put it on during the moed, and it's considered a tzarech to go ahead and to write tefillin for himself, or to make But since it's and you can go ahead and write for other. You can do safras if he has nothing else to eat. He needs money for Yom Tov. Not only if he has nothing to eat, but also if he wants to have a nice Yom Tov. If he wrote the tefillin that he can put it on Chol HaMoed, that of course would be mutter. The only isser that we have over here is the of Hanicham is the writing, and that he can't write for schar. However, to make then you'll have someone who only has no money. To make tefillin, even though it's a Maisa Uman, there won't go easier. There's a special gzeira of ksiva not to write. It's a special gzeira Chol HaMoed not to write, even if it's a little more. It's more chomer than other types of malachos and tzarech and whatever. It's okay. It's a gzeira and it's aser. Mutter lichtav cheshbon isav v'lachshav yitzi isav. It's mutter to write his accounting, or his how much he paid out, balance a checkbook, something like that. Because if he doesn't do it now, then he's going to forget, how much he paid, how much he owed. But if it's something which this is some of the things which aren't tzarech HaMoed, you need to know it for taxes in 2 months and the end of the year, something like that. But if it's a tzarech HaMoed, then he has to make a cheshbon, on things right on the moed. So that's that would be it's fine if it's Maisa Hedjot, which is not Ksav Ashuris, which is our Ksav, when that would be okay. Of bank papers, things like that you write out someone lends money, you write a shtar for gemach, things like that. That is mutter. Tzarech HaMoed. Obviously, you can't get money out unless it's Tzarech HaMoed. That is mutter if it's mutter if it's for that as well. Because if you don't write down the shtar halva, then you won't be. You're going to lose them. It's a davar avah. You're going to lose the money. Might lose the money. Mutter lichtov shtar kedushin mishitvei psikta. You are allowed to write a shtar kedushin, which means that that you're allowed to write. I guess the person writes Harei Mekudeshesli and gives it to a woman. You're allowed to write that Shtari Psikta. That's like Tanai, people get engaged. It's Tanai. We get into whether you can do Kedushin or not. On Yom Tov, it's okay. We have to get into that. But Akopanim, all these things here, they're mutter because these aren't common. It's not the problem with Ksiva. The special Gzeira against Ksiva is that it makes Chol HaMoed into Chol. You start writing, business, all these things. If you're just if something which a mitzvah that comes up every once in a while, but here and there, so you're not going to come to go ahead and make a uvda the Chol. So that's why it's mutter. Shtari Psikta. Gittin, V'shavrim, and the Shav, someone pays you, you're allowed to give him a receipt. Daitike, which are wills. A person's allowed to write a will. It's besides that's a davar aved, but yeah, even if it's not matanos means matnas bari. Daitike is a tzava of a shchiv mira that there's a Shulchan called matnas shchiv mira, which someone who is on his quote-unquote deathbed can go ahead and write out some sort of will for people to give this and this and this and this. That's called matna shchivira, which is binding even without kinyanim and even without it's a kilo made a kinyan, even if he just says it. Matanos are generally our tzavos, our wills nowadays are are done through matnas bari, that things are given out before someone's nifter, and as opposed to, so it doesn't fall into Yerusha. That's also mutter. Prus bolim, to write a prus bol if you didn't write one. Igor shum. You have they have to get something estimated or something like that, and igros mazon, or you have to write out something for food. It's like writing out a star, to say how much I'm giving to, I'm supporting my kids, how much I'm supporting. It's as a Rosh Tevos, it's of da tehei me'mekam v'lichios. From here, you're supposed to. This is where you give it to this person, and he can live off this money. Upirish prosbal prois buli yavuti, that it's a lashon of praise to give, like to announce buli yavuti, different types of stamps, different types of shtaros. Clever takanos amalve shlo yaabe mamonos. The kind of from the malve, she shouldn't lose his money. Takanos aleva she imatz mi shilvena, because if people think that they're going to go ahead and lose their money, if it's already shmita and shvi, no one's going to lend money because no one's going to pay it back. So it's a takana for both people. For buli ubuti. Pirush igir shum sheshama bezdin nichse leve nastam lamalve, that if he needs to collect, you're allowed to collect money on HaMoed, and so therefore bezdin has to go ahead and give an amount to give, so he should give to the malve. That's mutar igris mazal sherbachu bezdin. It's a karka lemazal isha, that if he's not support, someone doesn't support his wife. So then Bezdin will step in and will sell his property to go ahead and to support her. This is when they're married. We're not talking about afterwards of alimony, anything like that. We're talking about when there's a chiyuv of support afterwards. It's a whole different issue. And they write nice bezdin on this. Yinami mishikibo alav lozon's basishta, or else someone who's makabel to go ahead and to support his stepdaughter. Also, if he went to bezdin to the right of shtar, so how much he has to give her, and so things don't end up having problems. Shtar chalitza, ameunin v'shitrei berurin piskei dinim. You're allowed to write a shtar chalitza for miyun. If a girl got married before she was 12, and then after 12 she doesn't like the guy, he's a real creepy guy, I don't know, whatever. So then she can do miyun. V'shtitrei berurin piskei dinim. You can get a shtar bayrus or psak din, and it can be written on Chol HaMoed. Mutar lichtav ksuba b'moed. It's also mutar to write a ksuba on the moed. V'yesh oisrim. And some ask because it's a ma'aseh question. I don't know what we're talking about over here, because if they lost their ksuba, so they need a ksuba right now. It's Orach Chaim, and you can't live without a ksuba. Although the b'diavad, if the ksuba gets lost, until they write one, then they could do a kinyan, and they can do a kinyan, but. There are ways to write in Ma'aseh Hejed. He just writes on Machayev myself. I'm not getting into Psach Halacha, but there are ways to get around it. I'm not sure if it means over here the Yesh Oisim and say, therefore you have to do the B'diavad and then wait for after Yom Tov to go ahead and to write a nice ksuba. I'm not sure. V'igos she'el shalom she'adam shalech lechavero, and she'el shalom, letters that person writes to his friend. Afilo dvar pragmatia she'ena avuda, even if he writes a letter about business, that's not going to be lost. It's also motor yesh oisim she'el shalom. Some aser she'el shalom. You're writing regular letters to people. You're writing. I guess if you don't write Latzarach, stop. I'm not talking about that. That's also. But you're writing a Sheil Shalom Nagu Hachmir by Yachid. Afilu b'ksiva shalom she ksiva mishita. even Orach Chaim. The Ramah said before, for Tzarchei Rabbim, we're Mekel, but for Yechidin, the meaning is not to be Mekel, the meaning is to be Machmir. The Achronim bring that there are many people who are Mekel on Ksav Meshita. What the Magen Avram says, and the person can say, is that you should write it B'Shinui. We'll get to Shinui in a little bit, what kind of Shinui we're talking about. That all this is talking without a Shinui, because it's a Maisa Uman. We're talking about here where it's an actual Maisa Uman. The question is, what about writing? So we'll get to Shinui. What about writing? What about printing things? So printing things seems to be that I think they bring from Poskim. I mean, from Zalman, many from Shir Shabbos. I don't know. Seem to say, well, printing's a problem because it's even though you're just pressing a button, but it comes on a nice ksav that's Veisa Uma. It's a tzarech iyun because I'm not really. The Metzias might be different. I can mention last time, the Metzias might be different about printing. It was now the laser printer than it was before, and still not like really, professional. Tzarech iyun, you have to ask the posik if you have a person has a shaila. But al kopanim, it definitely it's more kal than regular ksiva because you're not writing anything. It's a different malacha, even though it comes out. Letters come out. So I don't mean a person should just print it as a draft. I'm not really sure. And so that then you can also, if you print things out, things of machlokes, for example, ksuba. You're allowed to print a ksuba, so you can print out a ksuba and then work it for that. And since the machlokes, you could probably do that. All these other things as well. Most of the time nowadays, anyways, we print things out. So either it's mutter to actually write it, or it's mutter to go, mutter to print it out. Definitely it's Orach HaMoed, and all these cases over here, it's maybe a Maisa Uman. Is if it's a suffix, it will be okay to print things. You're not allowed to write a shtar chov on the moed. And if he's not but if the malva won't lend to the loive, he's not needs money for Chol Moed, or he needs to get a sefer to write a shtar. He has nothing to. He needs parnasa. He's allowed to write it. You're allowed to write a shtar mechira on the moed. Because you can't do a risus of kablanos. That's not the tzarech HaMoed because you can't do malachos. Most malachos are aser, so therefore that wouldn't be the tzarech HaMoed. But shtar mechira, that's a raya for mechira and things like that. Is if you sold something on the moed, you're allowed to go ahead and write a shtar, and that would be okay. But shtar risus. If it was something from before the moed, then it would be aser. But again, arisas and kablanos, even if a mechira might be shaykh for the moed, arisas and kablanos is not shaykh for the moed b'chlal. There's no heter for that, and therefore it would be aser. And I think we will stop here. I don't know what to do here.